All right. By the way, what happened to your roll or your braid? Mm, I get that. Yeah. Kind of like if I braided my beard, it hurt after a while because it was like pulling on my follicles of my hair and my beard, and I was laying in it, and it was like even like yank on it a little bit. It's like gotta take it out. And we had this spot right here braided at one time. Did not work very long. All right. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. If you had not noticed, we are in a new location. We have been, me and my wife, been working tirelessly to try to get it going. So you'll be seeing a lot of changes going on here. We'll talk about that a little later on. But this is the Bearthoughts podcast. We do this every Friday. Hopefully the audio is going. Can I get a mic check from you? Yeah, there's no audio. Let's say right now. I already did that. No audio. None at all. I love how Discord just goes, or not Discord, OBS just goes, and you know what? Let's forget everything. Let's forget all of it. That's so annoying. Okay, what about this part? Oh, let's see. Does this give me audio? Nope, they don't. Do her job for her. That's the description. Yeah, I can't hear her. Uh huh. Yes. The chat's gonna be like, what is he motioning over here? You just see this little motion right here, and they're gonna be like, what is going on? Because I still haven't got audio up for you for some reason, because it will not, for whatever reason, just pick you up. I love um can I hear you say what's up one more time? Okay, Southie, can you give me a mic check? I have double audio in my head, and I don't know if they're hearing double audio for y'all or not. Why am I having double audio then? What about here? Checking. No, that is probably not. Okay, that is double audio of that. That is not what I want. I want audio of Corvo, please and thank you.
Audio of me.
Okay, let me get a mic check.
Hello.
There we go.
Yep,
Ah,
there we go. Hey, I'm alive. I have a voice.
so
I'm like the
everything.
goat last night. I'm like Valentino from the movie now. I
Maybe,
could speak.
maybe you can explain to me why does that happen? Like, why do like you turn off the computer, you unplug computer, and you put it in new location? It just like its memory is just lost. Like, do the RAM just
Some,
forget everything?
no, let me tell you what usually it is. It means your CMOS battery is getting weak because what your CMOS battery is supposed to do is keep a small electrical charge on the board so it retains memory between shutdown and bringing up.
Yeah.
And if your CMOS battery is getting weak, you'll lose every setting you got between the time you shut it down and the time you power it back up.
Is that more reason why not to turn off the computer? CMOS battery?
Yeah, because CMOS batteries can be a bitch to replace if they're the wrong kind of battery. Now, most of them are little watch style batteries that just pop in and out on the board,
Yeah.
but some of them are more of a pain in the ass because they'll have like a plastic coating over them with two wires coming off of them plugging into a plug on the board, and those fuckers tend to be located in places that aren't easy to get to.
Yeah, honestly, like I installed my motherboard. I do not remember at all seeing a CMOS battery on this thing. Like the old ones, I
Okay,
used to
that might be one of your issues. Then you need
Mm.
to check it because there should be a spot for some type of CMOS, whether it's a plug-in type or watch battery type, on that board.
Okay, because like I said, I haven't
Yes,
I
ma'am.
haven't fooled with it in a while, but I do not.
Well, I can look
That
it up
might
if
be
you
it
want
right
me to.
there. I might be
Since you sent
crazy.
me, since you sent me the specs, I can look it up and see. Uh-oh, tongue hanging out, flashlight coming on, some shit's fitting to go down.
Okay, I see it.
You
I do
see
not
it?
remember. Yeah, I don't remember seeing it at all. Yeah, I see it. It's a battery
How
style.
long? How long have you had that computer built, Grumpy?
Oh, this was back in apartment C, so maybe close to
Okay, so
5 years.
chances are, just an idea, just spitballing here as an IT person, you might need to replace
I
that.
got a couple batteries on the house that I never use. I was using them for my for the you know what I'm talking about, the dot. They're literally right here.
Yeah.
Cause
So let me give you this story because we were talking about the doctor thing. So
uh-huh.
my wife and my doctor, who I count as a friend,
Yeah.
decided to play a nice little prank on me.
Mm-hmm.
So Stealthy went in for her checkup, and ladies, they have to have certain things checked for lumps, right?
Ladies, yes.
And she asked Stealthy if she had been checking herself, making sure there was no lumps or anything. And Stealthy says, "I don't have to. I'm lazy. Corvo does it for me." So then, of course, my doctor thinks this is hilarious. So she tells her to bring me this.
She's like, okay, tell Corvo he's doing a good job. And to keep doing his job, da 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 da. I'm like, I don't have to worry about it. It's a daily check anyway, knowing him. Well, I have to go get my blood drawn because I needed to have blood drawn because they want to do blood tests. And I had this, which
What is this? It's like
It's
a
like
reverse
demo,
vest.
please.
with a shirt on, thank you.
Yes, with the shirt on. Yeah.
With the shirt on. We are not doing this without the shirt, okay?
Our lights will go up, but we will be banned.
True and real. I can turn off. Wait. I can turn off YouTube. We can turn off Twitch. We just be on Kick. We'll be fine.
You're not doing this as fans. Thank you for
Subscriber only mode.
Hang on, let me throw my toes in there and see if I can make us an extra few dollars.
You look like you work at Walmart now.
Alright. So disregard the shirt.
Yes.
Okay. The shirt does not exist. This is for her to be able to just do this.
Okay.
And check.
So
What it is.
self-flashing.
So as a prank,
It
she
makes
sent
sense.
me one of those to have
No,
her
this
wear
is
during
the one I have.
during my exams since I'm doing such a good job.
So
Gotcha.
I'm
Assholes.
sitting there and
Do
I
me a
asked her what I
favor.
needed to do with this, and she's like, you can either throw it away or you can keep it. I was like, I could just tell Corvo that he needs to wear it for his breast exam. And she's like, yeah, tell him that.
No,
Tell him that.
no,
And so we told him that. And he didn't believe me.
no.
I tried.
Anyway,
And, like, he'll keep it anyway because it's now a boob vest and he likes it. And
yeah.
sure enough, he stuck his face in it.
I've
The
been
first
I've been
one
like
that he
saying
got
it's like,
after
hey
he found
honey,
out.
like put that on for me. Let's have a little doctor checkup tonight. Let's play doctor and you're the patient.
I don't think this can handle my checkup. Ow. Anyway,
Oh, so
so
okay,
yeah,
all right, all right. Well, good for you.
got a few crazy things going on. If you got any special topics you need to talk about, buddy?
Yes, well, we forgot about the topic we were about last week, and I'm gonna bring that up today, and a couple new ones. But let's just talk about a few things here and there. Well, one thing, this idea of moving into here, we are now in the old living room. For those who have never seen my living room, even though there's a video on my YouTube channel, this is the living room. We decided to take ideas and inspiration for Corvo and Stealthy and move our little butts into the living room because this room is way bigger. And honestly, I'm all it's just this is my house, therefore I can move where I want to. And if I want to make the living room my bedroom, I can. Right. But I've always thought okay, this is the living room. This is where everybody comes and guests come and they come sit down, watch movie with us. We have a little time together. And we were normally in the room, technically right there. Maybe right there? Yeah, right there. And that room is way smaller and the roof is way shorter. So it got hot fast.
Yep.
Yeah. Because computers put out heat, and I don't know how much LED lights do on these little things.
Very little.
But say probably not enough to warm the entire room, but it feels so much better in here. So we were just, I came up with the idea because we were talking to Celtic and Corvo one night, and I just went, honey, I feel like we just move our office into the living room. And
then she ran off with a tape measure.
yeah, I'm like, here's a tape measure. She likes change. I don't really care for change personally, but I some change would hurt a little bit because
Well, I mean, the thing is the more comfortable you are, the longer you can stream, the more likely you want to go in there and mess with it. And if
Yeah.
you're hot, you're like this.
Avoid it like
One of the things I kind of like about this room is when it's cleaned up and organized. One of the coldest blowing vents in the house
yeah.
is in here, other than our bedroom. Now, if I wanted to be cold while I streamed, we would make this the bedroom and I would move into our bedroom. But at that point, every stream, even in the middle of July, would have me wearing snow gear. Because, son, I'm telling you, I believe I could slaughter a cow and hang him in there and he wouldn't go bad.
Okay.
It is cold in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, second best room as far as temperature is this room, which is why it is this room.
Yeah.
So that I can sit for that long.
Okay, let me ask you this, because our house is so old that it didn't ever have AC units ran through the house. But I remember you saying you ran an AC through your place, like you.
I have ran AC through a house that I've lived in. Yes, this one already had AC, but I've done it before. Yes, I have.
Okay, how hard is that?
It depends on what you're doing. So, like, if your house is sitting on a concrete slab, and if I remember right, part of your house is on concrete, if not all of it, right?
Pretty much all of it, yes.
So you're not running ducting in the underneath. That's not happening. That's a pain in the ass. It costs too much money.
Yeah.
Next question I have is, do you have any kind of attic space?
Yes.
Okay. So your ducting is going to be running your attic for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you want a single unit that sits outside, they're going to duct it in up to the attic and put in probably a split return.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll split off and drop vents in the ceiling in each one. It's really not too bad if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, it can piss you off.
Yeah.
You have to get up there and literally run the ducting.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how
you
to.
have to figure.
I wouldn't know how to do it.
Out where you want your vents,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to cut out for those.
Yeah.
And then you got to figure out how do you want to run your ducting. Usually, what you want to do is run like a central, large duct down the center, and then branch off of that duct to go to each room.
Mm-hmm.
And the further away from the air unit you get, the smaller the ducting you want to use when you branch off going to the room to keep your airflow up. It's like a pressure thing, like with water. the further away you are, the smaller the nozzle needs to be to keep the pressure at the same
Yeah.
pressure. Same
Okay.
thing with air.
So our oh so wise previous owners or whoever that had been modifying this house thought it would be a smart idea to add rather than an AC unit to have an AC unit outside, right? But it's one of those flat
Right.
narrow ones, and then it goes
Yep.
into that wall unit that you see in our pet room. It's like a Japanese
Yeah.
style wall unit, and I was always
Well,
like, why did they do that? Why not just put an air duct to the attic and then do the tubes to each
okay,
rooms?
because what they used was what they call a split unit, and that's what that is.
Mm,
So it's the condenser and stuff sits outside the house, but all the air handling controls and temperature regulations inside the house.
mhm.
Okay. They did that because it was cheaper, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, cheaper.
And most places your size has two of those
Mm,
to
mm.
efficiently cool it. So they have one for one half of the house and one for the other half of the house, is
Okay.
what they typically do. And honestly, yes, the initial investment is higher because you're putting in two, but over time, it becomes a wash and it's not as bad because with two units, one unit's not on all the damn time working its ass off.
Yeah.
They kind of rotate depending upon where the hot spots in the house are and where you are.
Yeah. The problem is to lay up this house, it doesn't allow for good circulation because it keeps the kitchen cool, it keeps the dining room cool, keeps the hallway cool. Now getting to the rest of the rooms, it just like it
So
doesn't air doesn't
I got a
just
question. I got a question for you. Do
uh-huh.
you have any ceiling fans in your house at all?
Oh yeah, every room has a ceiling fan.
Okay. So, but how many blades are on those ceiling fans?
I want to say 5.
Okay, so you got some nice big ceiling fans. How often do you run them, and which configuration are you running them in?
Well, depending on what season it is, would be the configuration, whether it's cold season or winter. We have a winter mode, and then and summer mode, we have a summer mode.
Right. But you can't always go by the time of the year because of your house layout. Just because you're summer doesn't mean you need to flip to summer because the house layout might benefit more for it to still be in winter.
Okay, so you're thinking that maybe the hallway we should have in winter mode and suck
Yeah,
the air into
here,
it, and then
here, yeah, right. Because you can make one if you've got one in the hallway,
mm-hmm, gets right
leave
there.
it pulling air instead of pushing air,
Uh huh.
and it's going to pull it into that hallway. And then if you have the rest of them on push, it'll push it out into the house.
Okay. All right, I get the
It,
idea.
I mean, there's different ways you can do it. Honestly, with your house layout, I probably, if I was going to put a different air system in it, I would go with a normal external central heat and air unit, and I would have someone drop me air vents, at least one in the ceiling for
Mm-hmm.
each room, and pipe it, largest to smallest, depending on distance. And I guarantee you, I'd almost bet you money, your entire feeling in that house would be different.
Oh yeah.
Any room would be comfortable and be your stream room at that point.
Yeah, that's one reason why we just it's too many branches in this house. But we'll try the fan the fan trick in the hallway and see if that works. Because right now we just have the door open, but we had it shut yesterday and it still felt pretty good in here. But like I said,
Now,
we don't have all
this
the
is
LEDs
gonna sound like
going.
a redneck solution.
Uh
But I
huh.
can tell you another thing that'll work. That if that doesn't work, you can turn them all. You can go seasonal with all of them, like you want to, like you've been doing. But the trick is when it's summertime, get a decent sized oscillating fan and sit it on a stand in front of where your air unit is.
Okay, I've already beat you to the punch. We have already done that.
Yeah,
We know we do that
it'll
in the hallway. Yeah.
it'll help draw it on out and blow it out. But I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know that if it wouldn't be bad instead of putting it directly in front of yours, like you've done,
Yeah.
is getting one of those that'll do 360 degrees and putting it right in the middle of your damn hallway and having it on during the summer, because then it's just gonna spin that air into each room.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, we normally have a fan. At least in the old office, we had a fan always at the door wide open. The
Yep.
AC was going, and it was just like is like either suck the hot air out of it, right, or blow the cold air in it. It was one of the two.
Right.
And of course, we have these electric wall units in our things. I don't know if you saw them or not. There's one of those old
Yeah.
electric versions. My wife wants me to yank those out of the wall and drywall them up. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's too much work. But like, that's our only way of heating the house too. So yeah, our house is pretty old, but it's what we could get. Still kind of regret. Did I ever tell you the story that like literally a couple weeks or days later, we found a house that was cheaper than ours that had more rooms and it was more up to date than ours? It was like it had 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, bigger space. It was more up to date and it was cheaper than our house. We were so
That's how it
upset.
goes. That's how it goes, though, man.
Like our
Listen, though, you can't complain because that house was a godsend when it
yes,
came.
it was very
It
much
was what
needed.
you needed. And listen, you don't have a bad house. You just there's some tweaks you're gonna have to do all along to get it
Perfect.
perfect. You know,
Mm,
you're talking to a guy who grew up with window units for air conditioners
mm-hmm.
until I got to this house. We never had central heating there when I was growing up
Only,
until we owned this one.
only reason why we ever had central heat and air because we rented apartments. Even then, like our last apartment, you remember? You never been to A and C before, but our old apartments when
Yeah.
we were first talking to each other, we had an AC unit to all the units that were made in 1987 or something like that. Like they were like some of the first pioneer AC units, and the guy never repaired it. And so we put AC units in the windows. He got mad at us and said, "Look, like made the apartments look like trash." I'm like, because you have AC units that are literally running one day, cost us $100 on our electric bill. And I couldn't find out when we went to apartment C, one of the air ducts were not even connected to the air hole in the drywall. It was just
Yeah.
blowing the air out into the open space of the attic of the apartments.
Yeah.
It was just blowing everywhere. So it was
Yep.
not even coming into our apartments. I'm like, I'm not running your piece of garbage. Ugh. This is the problem with renting. Like, even if you rent from
Yep.
somebody, you're still gonna have somebody going, yeah, I don't feel like paying to fix that. It's like, but I'm
Well,
paying you to.
that's people that don't care about their renters. If you get some, like we had this one guy that was real good when I was growing up and we were renting. That you even blinked and said, "Hey, that ain't quite right." He'd be at your damn house the next day fixing it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he didn't play that shit because the way he looked at it is, you paid him for a place to live. In that contract, he was duty bound to keep it livable.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't play that shit, dude. He caught me one time because I didn't want to bother him because he was a slightly older gentleman.
Yeah.
And we had a storm and he had rolled back a piece of tin on the roof. And because I did roofing, I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to call that old man and make him come out here and do this shit. So I just crawled my ass up there one day and I'm putting 2 new sheets of tin down because, and he comes up and he said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I'm putting 2 new sheets of tin down." He said, "You don't own this house, I do." He said, "I'm supposed to be fixing it for you, not you fixing it for me." I was like, "Listen, how old are you, man?" He's like, "That's not the point." He said, "It's my responsibility." He said, "I'm not mad. I'm just upset that you didn't want to bother me with it." I was like, "Listen, dude, you remind me of my grandpa. I'm not about to make your old ass get up here on this roof and lay 2 sheets of tin." He said, "Well, you could at least call me and I'd have paid for the damn tin." I was like, "Okay, well, fine. Pay me for the tin."
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's called
He's
being
like, "No, I'll tell you
respectful.
what." He looked at me, he said, "You know what? I'll just knock it off your rent. Y'all don't owe me but X amount this month."
Yeah.
And after that, me and him worked out a deal. I was the only person, we were the only people that he rented from, that unless it was something really, really major that I couldn't handle, I would go and do it, but take pictures beforehand so he knew what happened. Go and do it, and he would just deduct whatever it cost from my rent. He would just tell me, he'd send me a text, "Okay, y'all only owe me this much."
Yeah, that's a good attendant, but yeah, I don't ever want to rent again just to the fact that just like our last tenant, just out of nowhere, and you're all evicted. Everybody, not
Yeah,
just because you,
that's the
everybody.
major issue. That's the major issue with renting, dude. Anyway, you said you had some topics you wanted to
Yeah.
get into.
So, real quick though, I don't know if you saw this video, and all my heart goes out to these people real fast, but I just want to talk about this and just warn people. I don't know if you saw this the other day. Did you see the man that danced on top of 18-wheeler?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, if anybody ever watches my channel, listen to me now. Some things are not worth it, and fame and being famous on the internet and being cool, whatever, being trendy, isn't worth your life. Don't do stuff that could get yourself in seriously danger and risk your life just to seem cool. Everybody's seen it. Don't watch the video for it. But some gentleman thought it'd be cool to get on top of an 18-wheeler going down the interstate, dancing on top of it to get on TikTok or something like that. I think there's reasons. And the 18 went underneath their bridge, and the gentleman was sent to the hospital, and unfortunately did not make it. So I just wanted to say out there right now, I know some young people. I know there is some people, young people, watch my channel. I know who you are. Listen to me. Some things are not not worth it. The internet have more aspirations than to be famous on the internet. It's not worth it. Don't put yourself in serious danger just to seem cool and get popular on TikTok or YouTube.
Fame is not worth your life.
No, it is not. And especially right now with all the famous people and all the people rich and power doing all these crazy stuff nowadays, uh, it, it's getting crazier out there. And sometimes you get yourself, and if we ever became famous, I'm gonna try my damnedest to stay who I am right now because I like who I am.
Absolutely.
Even though if I
Matter
became
of fact,
famous,
the
I
only
like who
problem
I
you'd
am.
have is trying to figure out where the hell I'm at, because that's the only thing I want out of being famous is to be anonymous.
Like
If that
traveling would be
makes
nice.
any sense.
Mm-hmm. I
Um,
get that. I do. Because I told my wife, is like, if we ever became famous and I got a lot of money, I don't want people to know it. I don't want people to know it. If I could hide it, I would, if I were. But I don't think you can really if you're, because we're volunteering ourselves to be online. We're volunteering ourselves to be noticed online and be ridiculed because people have their opinions and we put out ours and they put out theirs. We're volunteering that. But also at the same time, we're also warning people if you fuck with us, there might be a warning with opposite side of it. There's a
yeah.
wall that you
This
cannot
this
pass.
is the happy medium. We enjoy entertaining you if you're entertained, or we enjoy your opposing arguments to our arguments if that's how you want to look at it. But there is a fine line, and it's like another streamer that I seen the other day that does a lot of streams with animals and stuff. You don't cross a certain line. She literally had to go online and ask people, don't come on my property when I'm not there. Do not touch my animals. Do not walk around my house to take photos and stuff. Because she got multiple friends had called her and seen people that were obviously fans of hers from her posts and stuff online, you know, saying, hey, there's people all out there taking pictures and stuff with your animals and stuff like that. Listen, guys, there is a certain degree of separation. We do want to entertain you. We are entertained with you. We like to give you our points. We like to hear your feedback. However, that still doesn't give you the right to intrude into our personal life.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that you get to do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm also one of those people that are not like this lady that'll be very nice and ask you to leave. You will see another side of me, and I really don't want anybody in this stream or in this community to ever see that side of me.
Yeah, because everybody has a breaking point, and everybody has a point where a threshold, and way you're looking at it being parasitic, social, or having parasitic relationship. If you would feel uncomfortable me doing it to you, don't do it to me. And
Right.
whatever you would do to me, if I were to do it to you, it's probably what I would do to you. Like, there's no question in my mind. If I feel like I'm in danger, you're in danger.
Right.
It's no longer that I'm in danger, you're in danger. And you don't think I'm just being nice. You can come up to me and say hi to me like that kid a long time ago. I know that hasn't happened
Yeah.
since, but that's cool, you know.
Yeah.
We can look at a kid
That's
and say, we're
awesome.
not worried about a kid, but if a adult comes up to me like that, I'll be like, okay, real quick, a little slower on the income, a little slower on that. Just give me a moment
Well,
to
I mean,
recognize you.
for example, breaking points. You were talking about breaking points. My breaking points is my family.
Hmm.
And when you cross that line into my personal domain, that makes me feel unsafe with my family. And that's the side of me you don't want to see. Just like with you, loving one and your pets is yours.
Yes.
If you were to walk out the back door tomorrow because somebody was a fan and you caught them out there petting one of your damn dogs because you let them out to use the bathroom and you didn't know who the fuck they were, that don't tell me that wouldn't disturb you a little bit because
Oh
I
yeah.
know better.
Yeah. We
You
have
would be like, hey, the hell are you doing?
I've seen too many people dogs missing online. That happens like around here especially. I don't know what it is about around here, but Boston Terriers are becoming missing a lot of lately, and that makes me very uncomfortable because we have a Boston Terrier. But yeah, just a little just say that real fast because I know that's on the net. But let's jump into the next talking point. And this one right here, we talked about this last week, and we're going to talk about it in the podcast. Didn't get around to it because we got caught up in what the whole fact that your job was people were going kind of crazy. And I didn't want to jump on the topic because it was going so good. Last week, or actually the week before that, the FBI is now going to be targeting and labeling gamers as potential terrorists. Now, I
Yep,
sent you a document, which if I
yep.
can remember, if somebody reminds me, if I haven't already, if you check down below, there should be a link to it. If I haven't already done it, please leave a comment to remind me. The FBI has put out a sheet of labels to target gamers as potential terrorism or terrorists and viable threats. Now, I and you are both in agreement that this is a little ridiculous, right? It's
A
a
little bit.
little, it's not really necessary. It's not really, I don't really see it as being so, but any kind of community, I do mean any, there's always going to be a bad apple.
Yep.
Always going to be one or two or three. And when the way people can communicate with each other, hell, especially since a lot of games are online nowadays, you're no longer gaming with other Americans or other Canadians or wherever you are. You are now gaming with the world.
Well, that's right.
And now you're gaming with the world is not a good place. It can be nice, but there's some bad people out there. And
Yep.
running into that, and let's say you're like, okay, let's say Corvo, when you were a kid, were you a little bit impressionable? Were you a little bit impressionable, like a little bit, like somebody told you something, you would probably believe them because
Depending on what the topic was, because for me, I had to want to already have some kind of belief in the topic before I would let something sway me.
mm,
But that doesn't mean that there wasn't certain topics that I was really wanting to be swayed by, you
yeah.
know?
So
Um,
there was a study that let's say there was a study that you were a kid and you didn't have a father figure. There's a study that a lot of kids join gangs because they look up to the older people in games as father figures, as a way of guidance, and then they learn things from those games and they become a part of it and start doing gang like activities, which are sometimes life threatening and dangerous and bad, right? This is usually what happens in psychology. This we as kids can be a little bit impressionable because we look up to people. Even like my
right,
oldest brother, I looked up to my oldest brother because he was like, I can't say my idol, but I looked up because he maybe had aspirations to be like him. And
right,
that is the same thing when it comes to video gaming. You talking to other people, those people might have bad intention and want to coax you into it. And that goes for
right,
anime communities, Twitter, YouTube. There's communities for everything. And those communities, being as so large, run into them. So the possible threats that they're labeling gamers as, the entirety, not the sum, the entirety, are racial and ethnic motivated violent extremists. Okay, that's a little weird. Anti-government, anti-authority, violent extremists, which I'm not one, but I'm sorry. We have in America, we have the rights to bear arms to protect us from malicious and power-hungry governmental officials for a reason. Just gonna put that out there. Animal rights and environmental violence extremists, which sorry, I don't care where you are. If you're an animal abuser, you're just a piece of shit. Just point blank. You're probably a serial killer. You hurt animals, you're probably a serial killer.
Listen, if you're hurting animals, kids, hell, if you hurt anybody,
Mm,
you're a dumbass.
yes.
Sorry.
Let's see. Abortion related violent extremists. I'm not gonna go there, but I'm just gonna say you should have your rights. Like, don't matter if you are for it or you aren't for it. That's your opinion. That why is that considered as a terrorist if you are against abortion or for abortion? What does that mean? You mean I am for or not for aborting a
What they're doing is they're not saying it has anything to do with whether you're for it or against it. It's what you're willing to do if you're for it or against it.
okay,
So
so you
you
take
get what I'm
actions.
saying? So like me and you, we may have our own opinions, but we're not gonna go out and do some stupid shit like bomb something or hold hostages or something like that just because we feel one way or another.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is there are people out there that will,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Are
want
using the games.
they
Ow,
and
shit.
they're using the video game community to essentially recruit for their belief.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
extremist ideas.
so when I read the document more in depth, I don't think they're saying everybody is this. What
Mm,
I think they're trying to say is we know that this is a large pool of people, and there are people out there fixing to start taking advantage of this large pool of people.
mm-hmm.
And we want to screen for them and any people they may or may not have the potential for turning.
Mm.
What I'm getting from it, because I'm gonna be honest, they know damn well when they release this document that there's gonna be people out there jokingly making jokes and shit still. I mean,
Oh,
hell, we just did a
true.
Star Wars stream the other day, and what did I do? Durka Durka Muhammad Jihad across the fucking thing. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I have many friends that are from Israel or over there that I work with daily. Hell,
Mm.
they make the same jokes I'm making. You know,
Yeah.
uh, and it's not me being racial. It's just something funny to say in the incident when it's happening because it's a funny reaction. I don't know how they're planning to do this screening. I can't say. I don't know if they're gonna screen it and take like vocal inflections and facial expressions into account.
Yeah.
Because if they do, that'll be a little more accurate. Um, you can tell someone that really means it by the way they present themselves,
Mm.
their facial expressions, the tone of voice they use, versus somebody like me that was being a damn goofball laughing my ass off when I did it. They're like, oh, he's just being a dumbass.
If I
You
has not
know,
watched that, that's the stream where I did Pathfinder. Go watch it. We're like on episode 6. I really would like if these other people keep on missing out, I'm gonna try to talk to Justin, my DM, and see if he can maybe add some new people. One of you stealthy, because I'm sure y'all would have a lot of fun joining in.
oh, yeah, I'm sure. However, why not? You don't want to find some artifacts, darling, and figure out why they're green and resonating? Anyway, something little side note, you'll get a kick out of this. I found out that one of the guys at work just DM'd the same campaign I'm planning to DM for our group.
Yeah.
And I have inside information from a DM's perspective. Oh, it's going to be so fun when we actually
I'm gonna
start.
say if he was be so kind to just DM for us and you just be able to play with us, that would be great because I want to get
He
that game going.
probably would do it if I asked him to do it. He probably would.
I would
And
appreciate it. Please.
if you want to make that a legit thing, I'll request it of him.
Yes.
I will request, but then I'm gonna have to build out a character. Damn it!
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyways.
I bought 2 new sets of dice for myself today.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. Now, And of course, the last one, it says all other domestic terrorists, which is a no duh. Anybody else that do any kind of terrorism. So I guess I'm thinking they're gonna go through maybe like listening to people's audios or if they're texting in chat or like that. Discord, I've heard a lot of like people doing using Discord is for malicious ways, but then you gotta monitor that, and that's a whole nother beast.
It's all about what they're putting
Keyword.
emphasis on. Like, are they, like I said, are they going to take into account the context of the conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they just looking for keywords? Because they're just looking for keywords, I'm fixing to get hit in the next month because I say stupid shit. I say stupid words all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't make me a terrorist or an asshole. However, if they look at my conversation, the context in which it's saying, they'll know that I'm just being a dickhead and they'll move on.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're gonna hear a lot of prepubescent kids screaming, "Your mama's fat! Your mama can, your mama this, your mama that." Because there was always kids online saying some.
Can you imagine the first time they swat an African American fella's house because he said cracker or something?
Uh-huh.
I mean, that dude's gonna be so fucking confused. He's like, "Wait, what? I was eating a Ritz.
That's profiling.
Ritz."
Don't listen to that. Yeah, so I'm a little bit worried about that, but we'll see how that goes. We'll play out by ears. I don't really think there are gonna be a lot of things on the news, but I'm hoping they don't use this as an excuse to listen on people's conversation. Hope they are looking for keywords or at least key slangs that will note them.
Calling and other shit. Is this really new?
They're already monitoring us. I mean, take for example, when's the last time you said something that you'd like to shop for, and the next time you got on your damn phone, Google had an ad for it?
Yeah,
that it's live, dude. It happens every day. Hell, I said something about Dungeons and Dragons at the break table the other day, talking to somebody about the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? I get back in there, sit down at my desk, and I'm flipping through my shit, and what rolls up? Hey, new Dice Tower 4. I'm like, yeah, you motherfuckers is listening.
Yeah. The phones are kind of like Google or Amazon little nook things. It's like, okay, Google, and it starts popping off. Our phones are pretty much the same thing. They're always listening. And it's
it's like the guy at work the other day was like, hey, one day they're gonna want to microchip everybody to keep track of us, and I'll be damned. Dude, you're walking around with a fucking tracker in your pocket every day.
True.
The government has the ability, if you have a cell phone, granted, they're not supposed to do it without probable cause, but I mean, that's not my point. My point is the ability is there. The government can find out where the fuck you are whenever they want to, as long as that phone's on your person.
Yeah. So just keep on playing, people having fun with it, but don't worry about it too much. But just don't be funny and saying some things that you just want to get yourself some attention. Because that somebody's out there, sort of like you said earlier. Someone just say something intentionally just to see if it's real, thinking, ha 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 ha. This is all they're bluffing, and they're gonna say it, and they're gonna fuck around and find out. Stop fucking around and find out.
Somebody's gonna swat them damn cells being stupid. That's what's gonna happen.
Yes, it's gonna happen. And it's gonna happen in the most unforeseen moments. Okay, little feisty one.
Yeah,
Soft.
I mean, yeah. Listen. If they want me, they know where I'm at. They know what my phone number is. They can come and get me. But the only thing they're gonna get is a fucking smart, cracking, wise ass fucking redneck that they're dragging out of here. Hell, by the time they get 3 blocks down the road, they're probably gonna pay her to take me back because I'm like, he's too damn much of an aggravation.
All right. Well, speaking of gaming, there is one more topic I want to talk about, and I want to get your thoughts on it. And okay, anybody's listening here, pay attention. We are not a political channel. We will never be political. We'll never go be political. And I have said this before, too many things nowadays are being forced into being a political topic, right? It's not supposed to be political, but people are trying to make it political. They're trying to put a political spin on it, right? They're trying to make it almost as if it's so important there should be a law against it. And I am not for that. So pay attention to that. You've heard of Kotaku, right?
What now?
Kotaku. It's a
Yeah.
it's a gaming journal. They're about games.
Yeah.
And one thing politicals should not be in is entertainment. And games are one of them. At least my opinions. Video games and political stuff should stay the hell away from each other. It's supposed to be for entertainment, supposed to be for fun. And that's what the main point of it is, right? Video games are supposed to be fun.
Right. But here, let me tell you where that line gets blurred, because it's blurred on both damn sides, whether it's politics or video games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you get a video game and that bitch is all about taking down the corrupt senator, guess what you just did? You just pulled in politics into video gaming. Or when you get a senator that gets pissed off because some dude handed him his ass in Halo, what do you get? A fucking pissed off senator. There is no way. Granted, I get what you're saying.
Animes are the same
I
way.
100% agree that I wish they could stay exclusive, but it's not going to happen ever again, because somewhere, some way, somebody
There's gonna
figured
be a
out that
slight
taking out the king or taking out the ruler of a country in this video game makes it great, which mixes it into politics, and then you give the political party saying, hey, look, the video games are out there now and they're inciting people to rebel against the people in charge of the country, and now you're into this shit.
Yeah.
You watched my movie the other day too much.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Okay. So Otaku used to be, or supposed to be, a game journalist where they go over strategy guides or how-tos or playthroughs, you know, something like about the game, right? It's not about
Sometimes they had speed run, discussions, and they had what they call it, completionist discussions, and yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So Otaku was bought out, and its new manager pretty much fired a lot of its writers. And the writers it didn't fire, he told them that they need to write over 50 or so strategies and game related I forget what they're called, threads or articles.
Blogs or
articles. Yeah, about video games. And to cut out the political rhetoric and discourse in it. Just like make it just about the games. You know, just the games. And a lot of people were, because Otaku, according to the graph of Otaku's popularity, it's been dropping for the past 4 or 5 years at a steep decline. And people were saying that this is a good thing. They needed to start focusing on just the video games, making articles about how-tos and playthroughs and all that stuff like that. Need to cut out that whole let's put our political views and aspects into the things and saying, you know, about certain people or certain ethnicities and so on. And I'm kind of right there with them. I kind of want to go back to where if you make a community, let's say a community about anime, it should be just about anime. If you make a community about computers, it should just be about computers. If it's about pets, it should just be about pets. Right. Now everything's going from here's one topic. Now we're gonna go way over here. Like no. Stay here.
What? Yeah, I get what you're saying. I do. But again, the problem's gonna run into every one of those now that there's some form of politics inside of all of it that's been included. Like anime, for example. I mean, how many animes are out there about heroes rising up against
a tyrant,
government officials? Not even necessarily a tyrant, just they don't like the way shit's being run.
Yes.
Okay. I get trying to keep it all about the anime, but how do you keep an anime that's essentially about politics?
Not about politics.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I would, from my point of view, I would just talk about like the person's goals, aspects, why they think they're evil, like why that character think is not why I think they're evil, but why does that character think they're evil? Why do they think they're just? Why is why is the king doing it? Is the king Is he maybe a little mad in the mind? Is he a little hungry power? Because sometimes they show it the evil person is being evil. It's pretty much clear cut and dry. Or do they have did the king ever express reason why he's doing this bad thing is actually for the good, but not to put like my 2 cents of like, oh, I think they're doing it because of this, or
Okay,
I think
so
they're
what
doing it
what
that.
you're saying is you want to stay true to whatever the medium is, what the story is for it.
Yes.
But again, what you're going to run into is that story may include a political backdrop.
Mhm.
And then how do you not bring a political view into something that has a political backdrop? I'm not saying that I disagree with you at
Mhm.
all. What I'm saying is the level of difficulty in some situations to do that
Yeah.
is going to be astronomical. It would almost damn well be better not to even have that discussion or that guide. For example, look at Genshin.
Mhm.
There's politics all up in that shit.
Yeah.
Whether you realize it or not, I mean, you're a person traveling across all these different countries with different laws. We're in a country that's nothing about fucking laws. That's what it's about.
Well, courts, but yeah, laws. A lot of
Yeah, well,
laws.
I mean, but it's about laws. It's about justice. It's about judgment,
Yeah.
criminal offenses, arrests.
Finding out the truth, the actual
You, you,
truth.
you, you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, yeah, you could sit there and say, yeah, Genshin's a great fantasy. It's all about this person seeking out, finding out their sister and what happened to them. But when people start asking more questions along the line of, okay, what about this? What about this? Then you get into the fact that the sovereigns of each one of these places, you're basically walking up to them and bitch slapping them to find what you want to find out.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Mhm.
Were we very nice the first time we showed up at a place? No, not really. We were kind of pissed off because we were still like, hey, I don't know what the fuck happened to us. A giant dragon died. So we thought
Yeah.
it was a god. You can't get much more religical or political than that.
Yeah.
Because in Genshin, the gods are basically the
Rulers.
political figures.
Yeah.
You know,
And that from that point of view, my personal if I were to write an article for it, I would just be like, okay, what are their laws? What are their rules? What are their ideas of right and wrong? But then I wouldn't be like, okay, but in America, this, and this are totally
all right,
different, and that
yeah,
makes them bad. Keep that
yeah,
stuff out. And that's
right,
where
yeah,
some people were doing
right.
in some of these games, some of these writers were going and putting
They were
their
pushing their personal agendas
yeah,
into it.
they were putting
The
their
other
own personal
too is that everybody interprets shit differently
Yeah,
uh-huh.
and from what they know.
subjective. There you go.
Yeah.
That's where it rears its ugly head.
So that's why people are like, hey, let's just stick to the game. Tell me about the game. Tell me about the story, the lore, the world. You can stick just to the game. It's like being a streamer and I am playing a game and I'm not talking about the game at all. I'm talking about everything else in the world, but not, like the game is just there. No, I'm gonna talk about the game because that's where people came to play and get my thoughts and my 2 cents and how I feel about it. That's kind of reason why you watch my stream is if I'm playing a game because it's the game. I'm just
Right.
I'm just a talking head on why you should. I'm a billboard. I'm promoting a game for free. But otherwise, if you're an article, write an article about a game, not about your views of
Yeah.
their world and America.
Essentially,
Or,
it's not really keep the politics out of it. It's keep your personal opinions and subjective conclusions out of it.
yeah, but a
It's
lot of
not
them do go.
politics.
A lot of them
It's
go
not
into
really.
politics topics, so that's why I'm
But
like
but the politic topics comes from their personal
personal.
point of view
Yeah,
and their subjective viewpoints. So in
true.
reality, it's not really keep the politics out of it. It's keep your own opinions out of the article you're writing for me
Yeah,
on this on this subject.
yeah,
That's what and with that I 100% agree. I'll tell you all day long when I'm playing a game, I like it, I don't like it. You can tell me you like it, you don't like it. I'm like, listen, that's fine. It's something I enjoy. But you're not gonna hear me playing the game and be like, well, I see this happening in the story, but in reality, in my personal opinion, I think this person is really doing this and this. Why? Why you want to tell me that shit?
Mm,
Because at the end of the game, I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna form my own opinion based on my subjective opinion and observation, and it may not line up with yours.
mm.
I agree. Yes, they should keep their own
I'm waiting, South. I'm waiting.
personal. Go ahead.
Said there's a problem with what you've said, and that is the problem that we unfortunately is the elephant in the room that we keep running around in circles and circles and circles. Everybody sees everything through their own lens. There's no way to write something without part of yourself being in it. It cannot be helped. Can you minimize it? Is the question. That is what the problem is. Because the way I view the world is different from the way he views the world. It's also the reason why certain puzzles are familiar to me and I'm able to solve them relatively quickly versus, say, you. What you have gone through sometimes assists you when you're playing a game or when you're going through your life. It helps you make your choices. Unfortunately, that includes politics.
Yes, but
Yes.
I understand you're going from it. But it's a website and a company built to talk about video games and nothing else. It's like an AC unit
Right.
making.
But
Wait.
somebody
It's like an AC unit being made, and someone talked about their politics while making AC. No, just talk about the AC. Just the AC. Keep your personal opinion in politics just completely out of it. Doesn't need to be in it. Your personal opinions don't need to be in it. You get
this may
paid.
be true, but sometimes, and I have been asked this during streams, how I came to a conclusion. It has been asked.
Mm.
That is how they go, well, how did you figure that out? That made no sense to me. And then you get into saying that, instantly it's political. No, it's not. That this is the background information of how you figure out how to do it.
Like a
This is
puzzle?
the way you look at it to see it.
Like
Yes, this has happened before with Corvo.
let's say, if I'm doing a puzzle and you asking me how do I come to that conclusion, I'm just tell you the conclusion, like how I came to that puzzle conclusion, not like how I.
I Corvo asked me one
Uh,
time because I was solving puzzles relatively quickly. Which game was it?
I don't remember.
God dang it,
I want to say
that'll
it was
help.
I want to say it was a Mass Effect game.
Probably Mass Effect. Y'all played
I
out so
want
much.
There was a game within Mass Effect where you were going through. I want to say it's Mass Effect. It may not be,
Mm,
but you went to the planet and you were trying to solve I called it a Sudoku puzzle because to me that's what it looked like. It literally looked like a Sudoku puzzle, and that is how you solve the puzzles. Cora was like, I don't understand this puzzle. It doesn't make any sense. How are you just going through this? And I was like, oh, it is literally just a Sudoku puzzle. He's like, no, it's not. I said, yes, it is. I'll show you on the next one. And I showed it to him. That is what I'm saying. Sometimes
you see
it's
similarities.
something of that. You need the background to be able to continue to solve the problem.
Mm,
Now, I'm not saying that that's always going to happen. I'm not saying that it should happen.
yeah.
What I'm saying
I get what you're.
is not
I get it. I get what you're saying. So what she's saying, yeah, they don't have to put it in there, but in some instances, they're going to be questioned that's going to force them to put it in there
Mm,
because that's the only way to answer the question.
if there was a question being asked,
Right.
which most
Correct.
articles, it's just them talking
There's
or
a
typing.
puzzle of some sort that requires you to understand the politics within the game. Whether the politics in the game is similar to, say, a different political system,
Mm-hmm.
leave that alone.
Yeah.
Understanding the political way that the game plays equals playing the game.
Mm.
Stardew Valley, for example. Let's be honest. There's a political system at play there.
I did not pay attention to start
You're vying for
story at all.
popularity.
I
There's
didn't pay
other
attention
games
at all.
like that.
I love the game though. Stardew Valley was such a good game, but probably I did not pay attention to the story at all. All I always try to do is build up my farm and maybe let the girl that I liked in the game like my character. That was it.
Right, but if you're one of those that you're trying to do completion, or you're trying to make sure you do things right, or in your case trying to get that one specific girl,
Mm,
you have to have some knowledge of the
I
political
got it.
system for it.
I got one.
uh-huh.
Everybody in the world that I know, notice what I said, that I know, has played Fable 2. That game is so fucking political when it comes to relationships. Do you remember the shit you had to go through? Like,
It's
you
been
were
2
literally
years.
a ghost. Told you to go make his former fiance fall in love with you and then break her heart. And then you had to choose whether you were going to break her heart or marry her. But to get her to marry you, you had to know how everybody around you viewed you and build up their high viewpoints of you to talk you up to marry her. It's so fucking political. It's
What's that?
ridiculous.
How's that political? I'm missing a beat on this one. How's that
You're
political?
you're not understanding how it's political.
No, because
Okay, so
wait, because the only way my viewpoints of political is usually if somebody wants to say that is bad or that is good, we should make a law around it. That's my political skew on it. Like, hey, I believe should be illegal. This should be legal. That's political. Anything is just, hey, you're a good person. You're a bad person. I don't see that as a political view.
but it is technically a political thing because you're talking about the social unit as a whole,
So just social.
which
It's not
is
a
but
But
the
that's
social
not
unit
political.
the social unit as a whole is political. You could end up being the guy that owned everything, which made you the top of the political ladder.
mm.
So even if bad, they would leave you alone.
It's political influence. It's because you owned everything. They were like, no, we're not gonna fuck with him.
So it's not social influence.
It's social influence leads to political influence.
Popularity contest.
Let's say,
Yeah, that's how politics works in a nutshell.
mm,
Senators, yeah, they go to school and they go learn all this shit to be good senators, but in reality, how do they become senators? Because of social interactions that builds their reputations. Those social interactions and reputations build their political viewpoints and career, and
which
then they're
then
put
gives them
in the,
power.
yeah, right. So social interaction leads to political view.
So what if you're liked by a lot of people but never given power over them?
Then I don't know. I mean that just I don't know what that is. I mean,
I would call that friendship, right? Because I don't have a power over you and Stealthy, so but we're friends. But I'm in a good standing with y'all. But doesn't mean y'all will give me power.
right, but the same and actually in a reality it does.
How's that?
Because when I talk to my other friends
Uh-huh.
and I tell them about how I love some of the stuff you do, we get along well, we play games together, that makes them want to view your content, viewing your content, and then word of mouth to other people viewing your content builds your social reputation, which then, as far as the social group is concerned, you start gaining power. So yes, influence is
is more like
everything.
February.
Right, there you go. Social
Influence.
interaction leads to influence. Influence leads to political power. Political power leads to you can't fuck with me.
So they
So
put influence into their articles. Maybe that's a better word for it.
Yeah,
Influence.
there you go. That might make better sense. That might make better sense. But yes, now, but I mean,
You can't. You try to influence people, for example, to buy coffee or W.
yeah,
You
not
are using the power you have
Influence.
to try to influence people
right.
to buy
Yes.
it.
Right. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person because there's good influence and bad influence. Because I got Razor and W all over my shit every time I stream. Okay.
Yeah.
But what it means is there is really no social interaction that doesn't have some kind of ultimate political reaction.
Yeah. So in the
from a
ways
group of people.
in the ways of like, hey, you're working Razor, your bad influence is forcing you to buy the product. Good influence is letting you choose to buy the product.
Right.
And the articles are like, hey, y'all should think this way. not you could think this way.
Right. It would be different if they were saying, "Hey, this is
This
about
needs to
this
be
is
happening."
this is the game. This is how it runs.
Hmm.
You could view it like this, but you don't have to."
Yeah.
What that does is allow you to still put some of yourself into it so they understand how you view it, but it doesn't make them feel like they have to see it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that the biggest problem is from what I'm understanding what you're telling me is they're not giving the person the option as far as
Anymore.
whether they you're right.
Yeah.
That's
Anymore.
the issue. Instead of saying you could view it this way, they're like view it this way.
Yeah. No more. No more. Your viewpoints in being forced into the article. Just put in the idea, but don't force your idea people down like this. They
Right,
should be thinking
right.
this way. This game, like this game's good. You should think it is good. If not, you're a bad person. It's like no. If you like the game, you like the game. Good on you.
It
If
should
you
be
don't, you
more
don't.
along the lines of like, hey, you could like the game if you're this kind of player. I am personally, but if by doing that, you're giving them the option to say, hey, I might not like it because I don't like this play style, but hey, you did tell me that you liked it. I understand that there are people that think this is great.
Mm,
Instead of saying this is a great game, this is what you need to play, that's not giving an option. That's you trying to what do you call it?
Authoritarian or tyrannical.
yeah.
No, there's a term for it.
There's well, I have.
That's you trying to Pavlov someone into
Oh,
doing what
good
you
word.
want.
Good word. Pavlov. I used that in a while.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah.
word. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if y'all agree with that, if you disagree with it, I hope them the best, but I think 50 articles a little much.
That's
50
a
articles.
lot of freaking articles, dude.
Like one day, no. But be sure to share this around. Give us your thoughts and opinions down below. I will be streaming later tonight. I don't know how much more of this will be worked on, but I will stream tonight and then get back to working on this.
Streaming tonight.
I'm doing the mega blocks, so that would be what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, bet. Now, I might be doing Fiesta here and Mega Blocks over here then, because I enjoyed watching that last one.
Okay. But yeah, that would be it. I'm gonna be leaving. I'll talk to y'all later. And as always, have a good day, have a good night, have a good life. Much love, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye. 1, 2, 3.